Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to make a quick video about how you can play and record your tube amps at home silently for free. Now, an obvious disclaimer about the meaning of for free: we're assuming that you have an amplifier, a cabinet, a guitar, obviously, a computer, and also an audio interface. Now, recently I've been thinking, I've got a couple of nice tube amps. I wish I could play around with them more, and even more so record them without necessarily disturbing my neighbors. And as such, I've been considering buying one of these 2-notes torpedo captor devices so that I can have a decent cabinet simulation and play my amps at home silently. But then I thought, hang on, I don't actually need to sink my money into this device if all I want to do is play my amps at home. All I have to do is hook my amp up to an IR loader on my computer, load up an impulse response, and I can play through my amp in my headphones without any volume coming out of the cabinet. So let me show you how. First of all, you're gonna need your amps, obviously, and let's just go behind it real quick. We've got it plugged in over here, and first off, I've got a cabinet over here, and you always, for the sake of safety, want to have a cabinet or another kind of load attached to your amp. So we're gonna plug that in first, and now we can turn on the amp. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a simple TRS cable, a regular instrument cable, and we're going to plug it into the send of the FX loop, the send. And with the other end of that cable, we're going to plug it into the input of your audio interface. Then you get on your computer, and there's a million free ways to load IRs. And I've just downloaded a random one off the internet. This specific IR loader is a VST, so I've just loaded up into my DAW, which is Reaper. Reaper is free. Well, it's not technically free, but it has an unlimited evaluation license. But yeah, you can get this free VST that serves as an IR loader, and it actually has a bunch of nice impulse responses loaded up into it. And once on your track, you hook up your inputs and outputs. You can of course get IR loaders as standalone apps as well, but I'm just using it through a DAW. Once you hook up your input, we can pick up a guitar over here. So plug it into the amp. You can turn the amp on. And if you notice, some volume coming through. If you notice, the master volumes over here are completely off. And we want to keep it that way. That means that no volume is actually going out of the power amp and into your cabinet, but your preamp section is going directly into your computer. So yeah, it's on right now and we can just play. And by the way, I've got a stereo mic behind me, so it may not be the best audio quality, but you kind of get the feeling of how it sounds in the room. Right now the sound is only coming out of my speakers, so just to demonstrate, I'm going to play and then I'm going to mute the track, and you're not going to hear anything. So I'm muting the track. So no volume is coming out of the cab, even though it's connected. Kind of obvious, but just driving the point home that you could be doing this in your headphones, right? So yeah, and as you'd expect, you can tweak the EQ while you're playing. So this sound for me, for example, lacks a bit of mids, highs, and has a bit too much bass. So I'm just going to tweak it to get rid of that. Now, if you notice, I've got another amp right here, and this is just for the purpose of showing how easy it is to swap the two out. So obviously, whenever you're turning off an amp, I think it's general instructions that you should let it cool down a bit, but I've been having it on low. The power amp tubes have not been doing anything, so I think in this case I can just turn it off. And I'll just swap the cab to the speaker output of the Bagheera. Do the same thing with the send. Plug it into FX send and get the power cable, plug it into the Bagheera. Yeah, and now we can turn it on. And let's get our guitar again. And obviously the point of this is that I expect it to sound completely different. Oops, I forgot to remove the power volume, the power section volume. Okay, that's really loud, and also it's the wrong channel. There we go. That sounds pretty good actually. Let me do the same kind of a Q thing. On the Bagheera, I think slide boost 2 minutes. Let's see. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Let's try out Ola's impulse response again. And that's pretty much it. And of course you can use this with any IR loading software. So for example, I've got the Gojira plugin over here. So I'm gonna just make sure that everything is disabled, the amp is off. We'll even disable the EQ section, and we just got the cabinet section here. Again, we can load any preset, but let's say we're using one of their IRs, and it should work the exact same way. Obviously, if I were trying to get a good tone, I'd play around some more, but you get the idea. So yeah, I know I'll be playing around with amps a lot more from now on using this technique. But anyway, I hope that you found this useful. Please let me know in the comments below and consider liking and subscribing. See you in the next one.